Hey guys, what's up? It's Megan. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It has been months since I made a video and I'm out running errands with my daughter. Just hit Target, about to hit the grocery store. So I figured since I'm going to be doing some driving, I would make a video and catch y'all up on life. I wish I made videos more often. I always forget, but driving is a great opportunity for me to make videos. So here we go. So I believe the last video I made was about me starting to do therapy again. And to be honest, doing therapy a few months ago was actually really good for me because it taught me some important things that I don't know, I just have so much more clarity on myself and what I've gone through and kind of my boundaries as a person and stuff like that. So basically, I started doing therapy again because I was struggling with boundaries in my life, basically without, giving away too much because I don't like to air too much personal shit on the internet. But basically, when I had my manic episodes, there were people in my life that didn't support me at all, that basically wanted nothing to do with me, talked shit about me, disagreed that my husband was standing by my side, all those types of things. And it's very difficult for me because now those same people want to be in our lives, especially since we have a kid now, and I really struggle with PTSD and not trusting people and just feeling kind of okay, cool, you want to fuck with me now, but when I actually needed you and needed you to love me and support me, you were nowhere to be found. And there's a lack of accountability, a lack of apologies that I believe that I'm owed. But I would never try to force that, because if you try to force someone to apologize to you, it's obviously not genuine at all. So yeah, I struggle with these things, and I decided to try to do therapy again. I found a therapist that I really liked. I worked well with her. I liked her personality. I felt like she was helpful and beneficial to me. But something I've learned, I feel like not only me, but when people are going through stuff mentally and they express that to their family or friends or whoever, one of the first suggestions that people make is have you tried therapy? And sometimes I think this can be dismissive of people just needing someone to listen. I feel like it's easy for people to kind of deflect and just be oh, well, you should try therapy. And sometimes I don't think therapy is the greatest decision. And that's kind of the conclusion that I came to. Is I was actually pretty foolish in the situation. I thought, okay, if I can just have 2 or 3 sessions in a couple of weeks and just kind of bang shit out, I'll have a greater understanding of myself and what I should do, and it'll help me feel better. And I honestly don't know what I was thinking, because trying to jam pack 2 or 3 therapy sessions within a 2.5-3 week period was way too much for me. I don't know, for me personally, I feel when I go back to that dark place of me being manic, I'm right back there. I feel the emotions, the flashbacks are in my head, all those types of things. And sometimes I think it's not necessarily a good thing to go back to that place. My husband and I do best individually and married, in our marriage, we do best when we kind of don't talk about that shit anymore. Whenever we end up talking about the period of time where I was manic or I had to go to treatment to get help, it triggers both of us, and we both get really anxious and on edge. And I found that with doing the therapy, I kind of just when you get a new therapist, it can be tricky in the beginning, especially because you have to give them the whole rundown, the whole story of you know, what you've been through. And I get really overwhelmed because my story is very overwhelming, and like trying to tell a brand new person who doesn't know anything about you. And for me, like when I start talking about, you know, what happened during my manic episodes, I physically react. Like my chest gets tight, my stomach hurts, like I start to feel like my heart is beating really fast. I start to like get kind of sweaty with like adrenaline. And I don't know, another thing that kind of triggers me is when people like interrupt me, like with my therapy. Like she kept trying to like pause me when I was like trying to like get it out, and that was kind of like a little irritating. I know she's just like doing her job, but like her trying to like pause me and like, you know, go off in a different direction was like really distracting. And I found that, you know, just being honest, like I didn't really like that. I wanted her to just kind of like shut up and let me talk, and then wait till I'm done and then say something. So, and again, it's nothing against her. Like I really, really liked her as a person, but it was just like the combination of her cutting me off, interrupting me, and then me going back to that dark place. I mean, when I go there, I feel like I'm in it. Like I'm on the streets, I'm manic, I'm hanging out with homeless people, I'm doing drugs, I'm like, you know, I'm right back there as soon as I, you know, pick that scab and it starts bleeding again. Like I feel like I don't know if I'll ever be 100% healed from everything. I mean, it was all so traumatic and so difficult for me to deal with that I don't know if there will come a time, maybe someday, years and years down the line, if nothing else happens with my mental health, maybe I won't get triggered when I start to talk about stuff. But as of now, I do still get triggered, and I didn't really realize that. But in these therapy sessions, I just kind of expressed, you know, there's people in my life that want to be a part of my life now that like I'm on meds, I am diagnosed, I have a kid, I've been stable for years now, and it's really difficult for me to like let those walls down and let those people back in that I feel like fucked me over, that I feel like these people should have supported me and they didn't, and now they want to be a part of my daughter's life. And like basically, long story short, I feel fucking used. I feel used for my kid. I feel like these same people wouldn't give a flying fuck about me if I didn't have a kid whose life they want to be part of. So yeah, it ends up making me feel like hella used. And doing these therapy sessions, I mean, bawling, hysterically crying my eyes out because I'm going back to that place. And as I'm like doing therapy, like I really, before I started doing it, I thought, oh, I'm going to be able to like chit chat with this lady and like keep it together. Like I didn't anticipate that I was going to cry. And literally within the first 5 minutes, it's just like I start like crying. All those emotions start to like bubble up. And so I've done a lot of like reflecting and like deciding to do like what's best for me, and against like what most people might think is best for me. Like it's not best for me to do therapy. It's not best for me to like dig all that shit up. Like I do best when I put all of that bullshit on a shelf and tuck it away in my brain and just like move forward. Like everything is so painful that like I feel like to some degree like therapy isn't helpful. Like it makes you dig up all those it's just bringing all of that back to the surface. Like it's kind of like torture, like any sort of trauma that anybody's been through. I mean, I feel like to some degree therapy will help talking through it, processing it, and all those types of things. But for me personally, I've just decided after doing, I think it was 3 sessions I did, I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. I messaged my therapist and I was like, you know, I really appreciate you. I really like you as a person. You did help me. Because she did help me. Like, you know, it was an important lesson to learn that like therapy isn't good for me, and I was never going to realize that again until I tried it. And like people were like kind of frustrating me in my life because when I would express, you know, what I'm going through with like trusting people again, you know, oh, like you should try therapy, or have you tried therapy, or have you tried to find a therapist? So it's like kind of made me feel like those people who I want to confide in and vent to like aren't really trying to hear it and want me to go pay someone else to listen to my shit. And so I I mean, a valuable part about doing therapy is realizing I don't want to do therapy. I've done hella therapy. Like, trust me, I did therapy for years and years, once a week for years and years. I did intensive therapy for like 2 months when I went to treatment to work through my PTSD. And, you know, I did intensive therapy, and I have done it. More therapy than any average person. Like, I have done so much therapy. And yeah, I just feel like I'm at a place in my life where it's not beneficial. It makes me come unglued. It makes me cry. It makes me like, you know, and, you know, sometimes I believe you have to feel it to heal it, but there comes a point where feeling it just becomes torture and it becomes not beneficial. And like, I'm a mom now. I have to take care of my daughter. I don't want her to see me like crying once a week when I do therapy. Like, it's just like, is it necessary? And the thing that I did learn, besides the thing I learned from doing therapy, besides the fact that I don't want to do therapy, is she just solidified my boundaries. Like, I basically, you know, told her that I still struggle with people that are, you know, trying to be a part of my life because of my daughter, that I don't trust or whatnot. And, you know, I knew in my heart that like I needed to have boundaries, and I need to like not be afraid to say no, and I need to not be afraid to put my mental health first, put my well-being above everyone. Because it's like, ever since I was young, like I just have major like people pleaser tendencies where I just don't want to make other people feel uncomfortable, or I don't want to make them hurt, or I don't want to cause them pain, but like at the expense of myself, which like isn't a good thing. So basically, yeah, I decided I don't want to do therapy anymore, and I really truly believe in my heart of hearts that that's the best decision for me. And moving forward in my healing process, I just have to learn to say no. I have to learn that I don't owe anybody shit. I have to know that yeah, I just have to take care of myself and put myself first, no matter what that means. You know, I've done lots of like researching on boundaries and just like learning about it. And like, I learned with myself, like if I don't have proper boundaries like in place with people, it really distresses me. Like it fucks up my nervous system, like physically. Like I get really bad anxiety, like borderline panic attacks. And so yeah, if I take care of myself, then I'm the best mom and wife and friend I can be, and daughter, and I can be there for my daughter and be healthy for her. So recognizing that at this point in my life, at this point in time, going back to being on the streets, being manic, and talking about that and digging all that shit up isn't beneficial to me. So I'm glad that I realized that, and life has actually been going really good ever since I stopped doing therapy, started setting boundaries, recognized that digging up the past and talking about painful memories isn't doing anything positive for me in my life. Things have been going really smooth. You know, I've had some, you know, I've had to set some pretty harsh boundaries, and to someone that's used to crossing my boundaries, because I've never had boundaries, it can seem like I'm being mean, I'm being abrupt, I'm being rude, I'm being like what the hell is her problem? But it's like, I've learned that like I can't care, like I can't worry about other people's reactions to my boundaries. That like isn't my problem. And that's a huge lesson that I had to learn, because like basically my whole life I have lived in such a way where I make other people feel okay, but at the cost of like me feeling okay and of my mental health. So yeah, I mean, overall life has been good. I just had my birthday. I just turned 35. Obviously have my daughter. She just turned 1. Also, we both have birthdays in the month of December. So we had her little first birthday party, which was amazing. And for my birthday, I went out of town with my husband and my daughter and celebrated. We stayed in a hotel, which was fun. And then just this last weekend, I celebrated with my girlfriends. We went out and it was really, really fun. And yeah, I just feel like there's been a huge turning point since my last video that I made in like my state of mind and the way that I live my life. Another really like sad thing that I hate to bring up, but if you've been here for a long time and you've been watching my videos, my manic episode video where I went to LA and I was in the psych ward in LA, and I had this guy friend that I met in the psych ward, and I was in a really bad spot. They were going to release me to Skid Row, and you know, he also was like a bipolar patient, but he has a friend that he lived with in Santa Cruz, and she basically bought me a bus ticket when I got released from the psych ward, and I took the bus from LA to Santa Cruz, and he was just like an angel. He made sure that I was okay. He made sure that I was safe. He took care of me financially, as well as his friend that he lived with did, until I was in a state of mind where I could like get help and get better. And a couple weeks ago, his mom messaged me on Instagram. She DM'd me and said that like he committed suicide. And so I've really been struggling with that, because also another one of my friends back in like October passed away of I still don't know if she committed suicide, but I'm like almost positive. I'm just like afraid to ask. I don't, at this point, like maybe I'll want to know someday, but like I don't think I can handle knowing what happened. But Steve passed away, and it's just like absolutely devastating for me. But like I know that like he was an angel for me then, he's an angel for me now. Like I know he's looking out for me, and I know he'll be with me forever as like a protector in spirit and a supporter. And yeah, when his mom messaged me, I mean, I just absolutely fell apart, because it's really rare to make friends with other people that suffer with mental illness, and Steve was someone that, you know, you share that special bond, and I really just wanted to be, you know, in contact and communication like forever. You know, I know that at the time when he passed away, he had a girlfriend who had a son. Steve wasn't the biological father, but he would make posts on Instagram of just like spending time with this little boy, and he seemed like so happy. And you know, we weren't in like, you know, super close communication. Like I didn't know how bad he was suffering or actually what was going on, but of course the highlight reel on Instagram showed that, you know, I thought everything was fine, but clearly it wasn't. So he overdosed, and I did ask his mom what happened, just because I don't know, I felt like in that moment that I was messaging her that like I just wanted to know. And yeah, so again, if you've been here for a long time, if you watch my videos, you know that like when I was 23, another one of my friends committed suicide, a friend of mine that was in hair school with me. And so I've had several friends die now of mental illness, and it's just sickening to me. And I know that I've been suicidal myself at times, and I'm so grateful I didn't give up, because even though you want to give up so bad, it's like life really does get better if you get help and try to, you know, make your life, live your best life, even though you have a mental illness. I mean, I know for me, like my medication makes a huge difference, along with like working out. And yeah, there's so many things that I can do to help my mental health, and I'm completely sad that these people that were so close to me felt like there was absolutely no way out other than to like end it all. So that's been really sad for me. But anyhow, just about to the grocery store, and I'm glad I made a video real quick because it's been on my mind for a while. And I really appreciate all the comments and messages I get from you guys about, you know, your experiences with mental illness, and also with not only your experiences with mental illness, but also if you're like a friend or a family member of someone that has a mental illness and you're trying to educate yourself and get help for yourself and for your loved one. It's pretty special. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. The reason why I do all of this is because when I went through everything and I was very, I just had my manic episode and I was in a really dark place because I was so embarrassed and humiliated of like having a manic episode that I was so humiliated and embarrassed, and I didn't have anyone to turn to. I didn't have anyone to talk to. And I remember going on Instagram and just like searching bipolar. Anyone that had bipolar in their Instagram screen name, I would like send them a message and be like, hey, like, do you have bipolar disorder? Like, what medications do you take? Like, I feel really alone. I just had my first manic episode and like I feel like so stupid. I feel so embarrassed. I feel so alone. I mean, I was in a very, very low place. And so once I started getting a little bit better, I decided to, be open about my story because I just want other people to know that they're not alone. And it sounds like from what I get in response from you guys is that you know you're not alone, because I've been through it too. So thank you for watching this video. If you're new here, welcome. I'd love it if you subscribed, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video. Leave in the comments if there's any specific videos or anything that you're interested in me talking